Good morning, everyone. This is Kirsty from MB Training and Consultancy. I hope you're all well. A number of my clients have asked me to give some more detail about making the apprenticeship levy easier for your company and how to get your money's worth out of the apprenticeship levy, really. Just a bit more guidance and how we can help implement apprenticeship programmes into your company. So what we're going to cover in today's presentation, well, I'll tell you a little bit about us and who we are, give a brief overview of the apprenticeship levy and how it works. I'm sure everybody's researched it by now on the internet and know why the government have implemented this. But let's look at how the apprenticeship levy can be a value to you, how it affects your organisation. And really, I want to draw your attention to how much the apprenticeship levy could be costing your organisation. Some pitfalls of the apprenticeship levy to avoid, the challenges that it's causing many organisations that I've been speaking to in the past few months since it's been launched, and perhaps I can share a couple of these points with you. But ultimately to offer a solution to what might be a potential headache and a considerable cost for your organisation. Okay, so who we are. We're a training and consultancy company that's been going now for about 14 years, and as the government has changed guidelines over the years from your MVQs to apprenticeships to work-based learning, workplace learning, we've sort of evolved our services, and our core values have evolved alongside this so that we can provide our customers like yourselves with solutions that save time, money and manpower and give you access to valuable information, help you make the best decisions for your organisation. And as I say, to avoid any costly pitfalls that some employers are experiencing at the moment, we've been doing this a long time. We've been liaising with numerous customers, both big and small. We know what works and what doesn't work. We've got access to training providers all over the UK. We've got a great working relationship with many providers, so we can offer a nationwide coverage throughout England. So what I hope you get out of the presentation today, well, obviously I'm here to help. I want you to get a clear understanding of how the apprenticeship levy works, some information, so that you can gain a good understanding of the levy. So as opposed to it being a cost to you, it's going to be a benefit. Let's look at some important information to help you make a decision on what's important to your business, and show you how you can get the best out of the levy, really, and then offer you an opportunity to book a free consultation with ourselves. It's a completely free service that we offer. Pick our brains rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, as it were. So what is the government levy? Well, by now we all know that it's a tax that if your payroll is over £3 million, you have to pay this tax to HMRC, and this has been going on now since the spring. And the aim of the government levy, well, of course, again, this figure's been banted around, 3 million apprentices by 2020. Is it achievable? Well, it's questionable now. I think some stats are out to say that it doesn't look like that number is going to be achieved. And again, you could ask us the reasons for that. And I think certainly the way the apprenticeships have been structured is leading companies to focus on training their existing staff rather than recruiting the traditional 16 to 18-year-old youngsters. But that's another question for another moment in time. So the aim of the government levy initially was to help companies develop their existing staff, but also to recruit and grow your workforce. It's on-the-job training, so it's tailored to the skills required by your business, and looking really at how an apprentice, whether it's an existing member of staff or a new member of staff, look at the benefits that this training could bring your company. So this training now, as we move away from the frameworks to the standards, very much focuses on your organisation, very much tailored to your individual needs. We're helping training the future generation of your company, looking at succession plans, looking at career progression plans. We can look at a training matrix, we can identify skill gaps, and basically map the apprenticeships that would be of benefit to your staff, to your organisational needs. There's lots of information on our website, www.mbtrainingandconsultancy.co.uk, but again, part of our consultancy service is to talk to you about your own objectives, your own training needs, and how the Apprenticeship Levy can basically fulfil those needs. So how does it affect your organisation? Well, the only way to get this levy back is by spending it on apprenticeship training, whether it is recruiting a youngster into your organisation or upskilling your existing staff. You can access your levy to pay for training in this way, and the government will give you an additional 10%. So you're getting your money back plus an additional 10%. So how is this valuable to your business? Well, it can only be claimed back and spent on apprenticeship training, but it is for all employees at all levels of education and ages. So let's think about in the past where there's been eligibility criteria where people with degrees couldn't have access to this training. Well, now they can. So apprenticeship training now includes graduates, and they may be eligible for level 6 or 7 apprenticeship programmes. And again, a lot of my clients are looking at giving their graduate programme a real boost and funding that training via their levy payment. So you can use your levy to offer a suite of interconnected talent propositions, really, that enable your employees to develop their careers, basically by transitioning from one level or programme to another. Now, why is it causing challenges and problems in many organisations? And again, I'm asked this sort of on a regular basis, that it doesn't seem to be as easy as people initially thought. So there are some complexities to this scheme, as there always is when we're looking at claiming money back from the government for training. So it's important to source the right training provider. This is really where my expertise come in, because not all colleges and training providers offer all courses to all postcodes in all of England. They just don't. However, the benefit of speaking to somebody like me is that we've been speaking to colleges, training providers for many years. We know who does what where, and who does what best. So that is important. It might be that a training provider can offer the course, but are they the best at it in that particular region? So finding the appropriate training provider to cover the variety of training needs in your organisation is going to be a challenge for you. Use our service. It's completely free. I make no bones about the way we conduct our business. We get an introductory fee from the training provider or the college. For learners enrolled, it's a flat fee that we charge the training provider or the college. So there is no charge directly to you, the customer. My consultation is free. If you choose not to go with the recommendation that I offer, then there's still no fee at all. So let's think about challenges and problems that could arise within your organisation. Well, your levy strategy, really. Who are you going to upskill? Are you going to use it purely for recruitment, or do you want to use it for your succession planning? Look at your training matrix, see where the skill gaps are, and use the apprenticeship programme to fulfil those needs. Let's just one of the questions that I'm always asked is, could we use the Apprenticeship Levy and deliver this training ourselves? Do we have to use a training provider? Well, of course, you don't have to use a training provider. You don't have to use a college. You can set up and be your own provider. However, you do need to understand that all providers, whether it's yourself or another company, have to be regulated and Ofsted inspected. And if that's not your core business, that might be a challenge that you don't really want. I don't know whether any of you have got children and have spoken to schools when they've got an Ofsted inspection and the mayhem and panic that causes, but it is quite a stressful time for organisations when they are being Ofsted inspected, so it might be something that you want to really think about before you embrace that. So what are your options now? Well, you can continue paying the levy without taking advantage of the clawback available, so that you can invest in the training and therefore reap the rewards of having better trained staff. Secondly, you could set up the apprenticeship programme for yourself and allocate the implementation and management of the apprentices to your current employees, or you can get somebody else, such as myself, to do all the legwork for you. So which do you think would be better for your company? And I'm sure most of you are thinking number 3 would be a preferable option for you. Then you're in the right place, and I'd like to offer the opportunity to give you an overview on how, if you do choose MB Training Consultancy to help you get the most out of the Apprenticeship Levy, what our process is and what we can do for you. Well, we can give you guidance, complimentary. We offer a free consultation. We can look at how you're going to plan your apprenticeship training to coincide with your levy payments. We can implement this training either on a cohort basis, or we can look at pods of people. We can do it individually and enrol the staff really on a day-by-day basis. But it's looking at execution, how we're going to roll this out, how we're going to promote it to staff. Is there still a stigma about the word apprenticeship? Do people that are 50 years old and have been with the company for 20 years want to be labelled as an apprentice? How do we market that to your existing staff? How do we get over any preconceived ideas? So it's looking at the management of implementation and rolling that out and getting the buy-in from your employees, maybe from their team leaders as well, and how really to get the the company to embrace this training. So we can offer this complete process to you to make it seamless, and as I say, because we liaise with the training providers and the colleges, we can white label this programme so it's all branded as your company training programme. It's just that it's a different provider that's offering the training, that's sitting behind everything. And we work with thousands of businesses across the country, and have been implementing apprenticeship over the years, funded or not funded as the case may be. So we do understand the needs of companies and how to roll it out, and as I say, how important it is to get the buy-in of the learner as well. So how does the whole service work? Well, we'd research all the available apprenticeship standards and frameworks to source those that would most fit your purpose, and indeed the individual learner's purpose. Calculate the recovery value of each apprenticeship on a monthly basis and also in its totality. And I'm sure you know from the government website they range from £1,500 up to £27,000 each. And we want to look at planning a progression route from one level of apprenticeship to another, to provide integrated career progression really. Working out the number of apprentices that your levy payments will fund, taking into account really sizable variations in the recovery values. So we need to look at your monthly payment and how much you can get for that monthly payment. We look in detail at the curriculum content, at the plans, the achievement, the endpoint assessment, looking at the amount of time that apprentices will need to dedicate to the work to successfully achieve this. We look at analysing the availability of the training providers. Yes, we might discuss your needs with a company that claim they can offer a particular course, but do they have that expertise? Do they have the assessors available to deliver in a timely manner for your company? So there's a lot of background work that we cover off so that you don't need to, really. We need to discuss with you and have this implementation with you to understand your organisation's objective. It's great when we invite training providers in just to get a strong understanding of how we're going to effectively deliver this employee-led training solution. So we have this initial consultation process. We do the identification, the mapping of the existing and identified skill gaps, and we look at that analysis, and we look at the delivery locations where your people are based to ensure that we're getting, as I said, the appropriate training provider in the appropriate area with the appropriate availability of assessors. The implementation plan, well, we have the team that start the initial consultation process, mapping the existing training with the new apprenticeship standards. The implementation team design the programme to your specific needs. We create and deliver these presentations to your key staff in order to get their buy-in, as I've said. And we hold these enrolment sessions to complete the enrolment packs before we actually start doing the training, to ensure that everybody's comfortable and confident and informed, and know this structured training and know where it's going to lead to. So we manage the programme for you, provide a dedicated account manager as the single point of contact. We have this learner progression tracking. All of the providers that we use now have e-portfolio, which is great for you as a company. You can see who's done what, when they did it. You can drill down and see any particular assignments that they've completed. There's key performance data there, who's on track, who's not on track, real-time reporting for all staff progress, including any outstanding actions that need to be taken. So you can track tutor visits, you can see who's coming where, when, what training they're going to be covering at that time. And it gives you a true audit, your quality and compliance. This reporting suite is so important now that your learner can log on as well. Any particular assignments that have been asked to do, if part of their working day would map into that assignment, they can log it, and that is part of their learner journey. It also provides financial projections to give an insight to the payment schedule for the programme, so we can make sure you're utilising all of your levy spend, coupled with hopefully accessing that extra 10% top up. And indeed, does it need to flip over to the co-funded arrangement, where of course the government will pay 90% and you just contribute 10% of the cost of the training. So in all, this service, would it help make a difference to your business? Would I be able to take away some of the problems, some of the challenges, some of the headache that perhaps you have come across in trying to implement an apprenticeship programme for your staff? Well, I hope you can imagine this working for your organisation. I've worked with numerous organisations up and down the country, and we've indeed implemented some great programmes that have really delivered tangible benefits. As I say, how much would a service like this be worth to your organisation? The amount of man hours, hopefully, that I can save you just by you tapping into my knowledge, I'm sure you can appreciate would be considerable. So how much does this service cost? Well, as I've already intimated, it is a completely free service. It is complimentary. If you don't choose to use the programme that we suggest to you, then there's no fee at all. We shake hands and walk away. I get paid from the training provider and or the college when learners are enrolled. If no learners are enrolled, then there's no fee for the college to pay me, but that's how I make my money. It's certainly not from you, the client. So to summarise, really, I offer a complete service, and I focus on reducing costs in your organisation and taking the legwork out of you designing and implementing an apprenticeship programme. Use my knowledge. As I say, I know many fantastic training providers and colleges throughout the country who can deliver these courses in a timely and efficient manner, ensuring the success of this programme within your organisation. We do it all for you. We work with the training providers in a partnership basis, so we have this triangle of you, the customer, the training provider, and ourselves as the consultants. If you feel this is going to be of benefit to you, then please get in contact with ourselves. Go to the website www.mbtrainingandconsultancy.co.uk. There's a contact form on there that you can get in touch with us, and we can give you a call back and arrange that initial free consultation call, really, and let's meet up, let's have a chat. It's not going to cost you anything, and hopefully I can deliver a lot of value to your organisation. Thank you for listening. Good morning, everyone. This is Kirsty from MB Training and Consultancy. I hope you're all well. A number of my clients have asked me to give some more detail about making the apprenticeship